But Mark's Max Muscle, why would you compare Sam Sulek with Chris Bumstead?
Wow. If I see another Sam Sulek comparison, I might have to click on it and watch it. Yes, I've seen people say you should not compare Chris Bumstead with Sam Sulek and other people too. This is bodybuilding. Of course we compare Sam Sulek with Chris Bumstead. Are you kidding me? But the voice at the beginning, I kinda agree with that voice. Why would I compare these two? Of course you're not gonna get anywhere comparing Chris Bumstead with his Olympia winning versions. I mean, he was competing for years and years. Doesn't make sense. So I agree. But what does make sense is finding an old version of Chris Bumstead when he first started competing. Back in the early years. Hard to tell, but he is a long-haired fellow. He had locks, like a girdle. He grew his hair out, like Sam Sulek, but it was a little bit neater, a little bit straighter and cleaner. And so I don't know if it was any cleaner, but you know what I'm saying. But now that you see the first time Chris Bumstead competed next to Sam Sulek, yeah, it does make a little bit of sense to compare these two. I could just hear you people, or maybe your people's parents or whoever, right now, back in the day, saying, Chris Bumstead, his arms are the worst I've ever seen. You could just imagine people saying there'd be no way this guy's ever going to win any titles. But the thing of it is, he did not have the fanfare that Sam Sulek has. He has, 6.5 million people on Instagram. I'm sure Chris Bumstead at this point had no Instagram at all. You could imagine. Now he has, 25 million? Something of that nature? So yes, you have to take a step back sometimes and realize that Sam Sulek, he's getting too much of a microscope on him. But if you put a realistic microscope on him next to Chris Bumstead, these two dudes, fair comparison, when they first started competing, Sam's better. Maybe not the wheels, but look at his upper body. He's got better arms. He could be the next Chris Bumstead. You never know. One thing is for sure, though. Sam Sulek, he is doing this for the love of the game. He could just sit back and relax at this point in his career and just twiddle his thumbs, make money. He doesn't have to do all this, dieting, things of that nature, putting himself out there. But he does because he loves it. And you know what? Us bodybuilding fans, we should be happy because this is only good for bodybuilding. Now, to be fair, for Chris Bumstead, this is him when he first started, only 2 years before this. This is 2016. That other version, I believe 2014, just in a couple of years. Look at the size of his quads. We're talking Mountie bumps. Full-blown saddlebags. Unbelievable. So if Sam Sulek is able to evolve like that, could you imagine that physique with great big Mountie bumps like that? And yes, I understand, you size police will be all over this.
Mark's Max Muscle, Chris Bumstead is 6'9".
No, he's not. He's a few inches taller. And if you put a straight line across there, I did make him a few inches taller. Hard to tell sometimes. But either way, what's very interesting, this is Bumstead's first ever pro show, right? He lost to Durham Charles and Terrence Ruffin. And the Diana Classic, it was called. No fooling. But what's interesting is this is Bumstead before. This is when he earned his pro card. So he was way better. His condition, his wheels weren't as big. You notice that. But his condition was spot on. So obviously using this version, any pro show version of Bumstead, he's going to be better than Sam Sulek. But the real fair comparison is this long-haired version. He had long hair, a little ponytail, just like Mark's Max Muscle. But he didn't hold on to it. Now he's got some fake stuff up there. But having said that, guys, if you're going to get serious and look at these two dudes and their physiques, hey, Bumstead, he's definitely not impressing me any more than Sam Sulek is. So, as far as being on a racetrack, how fast you're going earlier on in the race, Sam Sulek, he is doing just fine. No sing. You ever wonder why they call him Chris Bumstead? I'm too sexy for this dance, too sexy to wear pants. But anyway, on a more serious note, Sam Sulek, in fact, measures up very well with Chris Bumstead, using both of their first versions. Like I said, you're going to see a lot of comparisons with Chris Bumstead winning his pro card, his first pro shows, things of that nature. Not really fair. Now, I will admit, Chris Bumstead, he's a whole lot younger than Sam Sulek here. What was he, 19? I think he was just a boy, cheek of tan. But 23, that's about the same, isn't it? In bodybuilding standards? I mean, 23 is just scraping the very surface of what this guy could accomplish. And you never know, in a couple of years he could look just like Chris Bumstead. Big, well-developed mounty bumps. You can see his chest was a lot bigger, things of that nature. And then, sky's the limit. It was for Chris Bumstead. Now, unfortunately, there is no back pictures of Bumstead from that first show. If you guys can find some, message me on Instagram and send them to me. Actually, it's a little bit too late now, but I still like to see them. Personally, I'd like to see what his back development was back then. Now you can clearly see the size of those quads. He is bending at the knees, little bit more than Sam Sulek. Lat insertions are a little bit lower, but what we've seen from Sam Sulek, in terms of condition, he might have been more shredded to the diced. I think he was a little bit more peeled than even a competitive pro. He didn't win this show. Like I said, lost to Durham Charles, good old Durham Charles. He was a natty for a while, wasn't he? Well, maybe not. So, at the end of the day, Chris Bumstead, he had a better set of quads, I think. But in terms of their starting point in bodybuilding, I would say that's about it. Sam Sulek, not bad in the quads when you do the comparison. Size-wise, wasn't until a couple of years later Bumstead really packed on that size. In terms of the upper body, you can clearly see Sam has a much better set of abs. You could see from the front double he had a better set of arms. So you never know. Sam Sulek, he could be the next. Well, it wouldn't be the next. Take a couple of years of seasoning. He could be the next long-term Classic Physique Division champion. And he could, like I said, he could evolve into what Chris Bumstead did in just a couple of years. Now, why is Mark's Max Muscles so excited about Sam Sulek being an IFBB pro when there is other guys out there that are just as good or better? Well, they're not as popular. And like I mentioned earlier, this is only good for bodybuilding. And what's good for bodybuilding is good for the ganders. Well, good for the YouTube channels. And as you know, I run my YouTube channel, and I would do comparisons, Ronnie Coleman versus Dorian Yates, all day long. It's just not sustainable. So, Sam Sulek, guys like that, thank you very much for the little extra views that I get. And yes, I am excited to see this guy evolve. Just like Chris Bumstead. Just like Chris Bumstead. So. Not trying to oversell this guy. Well, maybe I am. But realistically, guys, come on. Are you sitting here with your bare faces hanging out telling me that, well, you can clearly see Chris Bumstead, he had the potential to be a 6-time Classic Physique Division champion? No, he didn't. And Sam Sulek, he really doesn't have that boom, wow factor, but he has heart. And that's what it takes. A mind and a soul and heart. That will get you the big muscles. More so than starting off way ahead of all these guys. Now, if you start way ahead of these guys, plus you have the heart and the mind and the soul, well, you could do pretty good in this game, this sport. Well, no, you guys don't like that. This pageant of ours. Hit thumbs up on the video. Let me know, how far is Sam Sulek going to make it?
Mark's Max Muscle, he's not even going to get his pro card. Meh.
Well, I think he will. And I think he is going to win a pro show, and then we'll revamp and decide from then. Decide from there. If Wesley Vissers can come from where he came from, and people saying he's never going to win another pro show, he went on to win the Arnold Classic. So you never know. You never know. Have a nice one.